Good evening, everyone. How are you today?
I'm doing well.
Doing well?
Good. You're doing well.
Who's doing well?
Sounds good.
Doing well. We're not?
Yeah. Why not? We are healthy, everything fine. Anyway, it's good, very great opportunity to again we have studied about how we can subdue our ignorant minds. Therefore, first we set perfect motivation in order to benefit all sentient beings, achieve enlightenment. In order to achieve enlightenment, subdue our negative minds, cultivate our positive minds. Correct? Therefore, the purpose of study Dharma is there are many reasons. If you think about long term, long goal, full happiness, cheap enlightenment, free from suffering of samsara and lowdowns. Then short goal is a short goal also. Short-term goal, and then the goal is to this life, happy life. Then happy life is not come from outside. Happy life is start to happy mind. Right?
Yeah.
If you are not happy mind, then you cross doors, maybe you have first door, second door, third door, maybe you have 3 doors. You say, oh, they bother me, just first door cross, second door cross, third door cross, you are the, what do you call it? Behind, how you say, or the side, what do you call it? Inside room. Usually we say, people bother me, then we say, cross window, cross door, These are very people bother. But real bother is not others outside. Real bother is inside. Therefore we say, okay, cross first door. I don't know, maybe we say, how is that? First door, second door, is any room there? Any room, doors? I don't think so. Maybe we say cross door. Then we stay here. Doesn't matter. Is your mind's not happy, then you close door, you close windows, close all the lights, doesn't matter. The main thing is start to our own happiness, own mind. Then Buddha's teaching says us how we start to be happy mind, we control our mind. Main things, control our mind. Usually we are not available to control our mind. Right? Mind goes all the things. Therefore, then study purpose of teaching, purpose of practice is, of course you have a very great goal to achieve complete, full happiness. But short term is, even this life, I don't know, we most maybe 30, 40 years. No, I don't know how long still we have, maybe more 30, 40. I'm 44. I think maybe I don't have still 44 years.
60.
83, right? I don't think so. Maybe not, it's not possible. There
Tell me
were
about it.
more than half life really gone. Then we gone, we go through all the research, sometimes okay, sometimes not good, sometimes okay, just come to here. Now we have a couple more years. I don't know how many. Right? No, that's improvement, It doesn't matter, young, old. Usually with the older people go too fast, but it's not certain. Therefore, sometimes all parents are gone. No, all kids are gone. Certain parents dead. One my teacher's teacher, before he passed away, many his students passed away. Like that. And then the last couple of months ago, one of my teachers, the Geshe teacher, he passed away. His students are also almost gone. Therefore, like that. We are not certain, then we don't know who's go fast, who's go later. But usually we're thinking the age older was fast, the younger was later. But even think we are very not high, we are more middle place. What's it, middle? What other places?
In the middle.
In the middle. In the middle, okay? Therefore, in the middle, now we have how many years? Just I think maybe Ian's very young.
You feel really old.
I think he's the younger one.
Thank you.
Other ask, and I must say we old, but we middle back. Middle. We all middle place. Middle place. Therefore, how many, still we have lives. And try to be comfortable, happy, just relax. This is we say, oh, I need to relax, I need to happy, it doesn't work. Right? Even if without all the time, I need to happy, it doesn't work. Start to just open our heart, then change the day, then learn many small, how you call it, buildings, and then, scores, mini scores, right? Small scores. We have to learn that some scores we need to learn a bit tight, some we need to learn a bit loose. If you don't do that, then we just please Buddha, I want to praise. It's not happen. Therefore, whatever we study, all the books, different, explain, but all the goal to come together is how we become more happy. Who check our happy life? Correct? Can you tell us? Who check our happy life?
Who takes it away?
He takes away. Who takes away our happy life? And this ignorant. Right? Therefore, then study, then you study, whatever you study, then try to every day, just a little bit. Just a little bit. It's possible we can change a little bit. And also very important to always, also if we say, when we talk about positive karma, negative karma, then we say, oh, I'm a terrible person. Then we worry. Not like that. No need to worry. Even we did very terrible things, but it is fixable. Shantideva said, it is fixed, nothing to worry. it is not fixed, nothing to worry, because now it doesn't work. Therefore, we think, oh, I'm terrible things. No, I maybe not possible to feel something, right? But its quality of the negative karma is purified. Therefore, our mind and the ignorance separate, not the same. Then we can wash. Therefore, if you want to, happy day, happy night, happy life, try to start to force ourselves. Not blame all the time others, She did, he did, they did. Therefore, if you're the person always complain for others, try to one day don't complain others. How about me? How about I do actions for others? Just think about that, right? Usually we never think about for us. We say, oh, she did, oh, he did. Because he said very bad words for me. Because she said very bad words for me. We don't know what we talk about, what we thinking. Just think one day. Just maybe in the morning. There's some situation there. How I treat how I treat others. How I show actions for others. How I talk about others. If someone get angry for me today. There's some reason anyway. Then how can can I show actions? How I show action from me for others when I get angry. Or someone give me angry, some situation. Usually we don't think that, Same to the others, when we are not happy, the other person also not happy. Same, right? We get angry with some others. Same is exactly whatever we are not happy, same as the other person also not happy. Therefore, we have always think about a little bit ourselves, not always complain others. Then try to how much you can. It's very difficult, we say, don't angry, It's very, very hard because we used all the time. Therefore, anger is very, very kind for us. He always with us. Then jealous, then hatred. Therefore, then, Buddha said, or the Kadamba master said, very important to study. Without study, you don't get any education. Therefore, very important to study. Also, it's same, right? Basic education, whatever we have to study here, we have to study. You don't study, you don't get, right? Same as me, I don't study English, then my English all the time same. No go up. If study, then every day, very better. Same as that. And whatever we have to do some things, we have to know, right? Therefore, then Buddha said, if you don't study, you don't understand what is the positive way, what is the negative way. Without study, you are not available to understand that. When you study, you can understand what action is positive, what action is negative. Then you are available to stop the negative action and create the more positive action. Is correct? Good. I'm going to try. Okay, I think that is really done. Then this is it's Tibetan called Lo Zhong. Lo means mind. Zhong means practice. Train. Train our mind. Then, okay, I'm not a baby. I don't want to train my mind. Usually I say, I'm training babies. We need to train our mind. Our mind always follow the Buddhist ways. Then we say, no, don't go that way. Come this way. Now we have to go the opposite way. Then this text is very, very also explained to the cause and effect. Cause and effect.
Cause and effect.
Therefore, also past, future lives. Even you don't believe past, future lives. No, you don't see. For example, the person, usually when we start out, people start on life in the age 20s. 소소는 약간 내가 제대로 가지 못했어. 소소는 약간
So when people start to take responsibility of themselves, right? When they start to stand on their own feet and start to do the things for themselves, like taking care of themselves, cooking for themselves, taking like washing, cleaning, and so forth for themselves. Whenever they start to take the responsibility on themselves.
And how you take by yourself good care or not depends how you study before that, how you used to.
So how well you will be able to, take on the responsibility, or how well you will be able to take care of yourself depends on how well you have prepared yourself by studying and learning the things.
Right? Usually the Western they start on spot. They're 18 years old. Then they say, I'm the 18. Goodbye, parents. The problem, they come back. Right? They don't say that. The parents, okay, goodbye. They're 18. But after leave from the parents' house, then you have to cook by yourself. You have to know how you pay your bills like that. Then how you do before you that, how you do by yourself. Then if you doesn't cook before, when you go out, you don't know how to cook. You always go to restaurant, you have to buy, right? Then also you don't do your laundry. Then when one day you don't know how you do it. Even you don't know how to put this together. It's just small things, right? Then of course you have to pay the bills, go to the job, and also what kind of job you can get. It depends how you study. Most people, something not exactly that. Therefore, I think cooking situations, maybe you guys all have to look for the books. If the book's wrong, then yours is wrong. Like that. Then this book talk about what kind of situation, what you have now. Depends what you did previous life or maybe when you are the younger one. Before the teenager. It's a very short time. Therefore, right now you have this situation. That's why. Because you did something wrong there. Now, this will not come back for you. When like that, okay? Then now we start with this book. It's verse 23. 칼로슈니 모사트 저도 소바에 내가 투자를 놓고 봐. 아는 말은 잡으셔서
무슨 버릇? 저는 무슨 버릇?
아는 물을 원한다. 그거지.
무슨 버릇?
무슨 소문이 있습니다. 내가 물을 원한다. 아는 물을 원한다.
Okay, so the verse 23 reads, when everyone contradicts me, it is the weapon of my own evil deeds turned upon me for belittling, shame, and modesty. And from now on I shall avoid rough behaviors.
근데 용도 가지는 가도 가지 가로시되나? 가지 소수 싸만은 소수 지원은 좀 맞춰 가지고 용도 왔어. 다 되는 거 왔어.
So this happens, to us a lot, right? When everyone contradicts us. So whatever we want, and whatever way we want to do the things, people don't agree with that. They always, contradict with or go against us, or never agree with us.
그냥 다디돼서 그냥 대령에 가서 나라서 뭐지 용주로 이렇게 마셔야 와. 소수 이만 쇼 그런 마셔야 아니 마시면 쉬워지게 돌아야. 아니 지금 많이 받아. 야무나 거한테 받아. 아니 많이 가요 좀 받아. 야나 아니 펜서 어따지 던지만 용도 와서 가지 나서 되는 용도 와서 지금 많이 받아 소소를 듣고 많이 와서 소소를 다 듣고 가서 올라야 돼. 아니 거한테 받아. 아니 많이 가요 보내 받아. 그런 것도 용도 와서.
And also, sometimes even though we haven't done anything bad, but we are criticized, for doing bad, or we're, scolded, by using harsh words by others, and sometimes, we are blamed for doing the things that we have not done, and so forth.
근데 다때 가르치는 좀 어렸어. 다 나도 그 노서 뭐 노서 나고 왔어. 안 나야 돼.
And so why does those things happen to us? Normally we will just blame to others, right? And this is the other person's fault. Even though I was not that like that, the person said I'm like that, and so forth. So we always blame on others, right?
와. 근데 다 이제는 나도 남백이는 다 이제 두 말했어. 다 전환기 있어. 아니 제왕 넘어가고 세대 강자 아니 장기 넘어가고 아무나 빈치 아무나 파마. 서로 아니 다 두돌아치 뭐사다 치유 매부터니. 아니 딱 먹고 그러니까 다 남나서 뭐지 다 내가 해서.
So according to this text, according to Buddhism, according to this text, it's saying it's not their fault. It's because of our own negative karma that we have created in the past by belittling shame and modesty. So by belittling shame and modesty means like not caring about the sense of shame or modesty, and without that, then we just scold or disrespect our teachers, our parents, or our friends, and so forth, and say bad words to them, and so forth. So because of that, usually we'll feel shame to say those things, right? And so belittling shame is like not feeling shame or not feeling modesty without the sense of those. Then you say all these bad things to others, like especially to your gurus and parents, and because of that, then we get turned back this kind of behavior on us by blaming us for the things that we have not done.
와. 내가도 용도 왔어. 나도 참 만두군이 예반 매사가는 거라지. 딱게 뭐 보지 예반 뭐 보고도 같아. 용도 왔어.
So even though we don't, remember doing anything bad in this life, right? Even though we don't think we have done anything, but we are blamed for doing such and such bad things, right?
근데 다 소수가 아니 내가 근데 지금 다 레벨을 정도 담을 때 많이 와요. 근데 다 단에서 되겠지. 뭐사다 뒤에 제대로 다 샤워가 지금 멤버 지금 뭔지 아사면 다 소수 개념으로 지고 그래서 와.
And so it is all because of those kind of actions that we're experiencing this. Of course, we may think that we have not done anything bad in this life, but we don't remember, right? Even those things that we did in this life, and of course, those we did in our previous lives, we will not remember at all. So, whatever that's happening, bad things happening, to us now, such as being blamed, for the things that we have not done and so forth, is, because of doing those things. So from now on, it says I shall avoid rough behaviors, so that means like I should avoid criticizing others or saying bad words to others out of without any sense of shame or modesty.
근데 다도 가로 자세 도면상 부분이 원래서 서대만 손을 와서 배설 안에 서대가 나요. 달라 녀바 주제 매진다. 봐. 강다 오늘 강다다 공고 디반다 소소가 진이 마당 좋아이나 대라 니지 온기 디반은 다 라라 달라 레바티다 제대시데 라네 레세로 지금 송을 봤어.
And also Bodhisattva Tome Sampo, in his 37 practices of Bodhisattvas, he has mentioned that if somebody blames us, if somebody blames us for doing the things that we have not done, and then instead of getting angry and blaming on others for saying what they said, instead of becoming angry or blaming them, and we should have a compassion towards them for giving you the opportunity, and by accepting, by accepting, taking even more than what you're given upon yourself, and you should have compassion towards others.
하여튼 다 같이 이마지 조금만 하면 이마지 가서 고마서 저한테 대대게 배스 다 같이 살았어.
And so, how are you going to react? When if somebody just comes to you and say, you're a thief, even though you haven't stolen anything. If somebody comes up to you and say, you're a thief, how do you react?
Or you ask for the text to get a good text, and I have to accept because this, I did this karma. Then you say, okay, I did. You just accept that, or you do? 그래 되나 그래가로 그냥 대 고를 시험 말이죠. 또 한 수치면 한 가도 캘린지도 대도 말해서 봐. 대 그. 캘린지 제고서 나오고 말이죠.
So it doesn't mean that you have to accept that. You don't have to. Doesn't mean that you have to accept you're a thief if somebody says you're a thief.
봐. 가지 된디 뒤가라야 소주고 썸들라는 거는 세번 삼에나 단대가는 게 저는 레니 삼아이나 아니 코로도 용하는 거 생각도 코로 주사가라 뭐지 좀
So if somebody comes and says to you that you're a thief, then you might get angry right away, right? If you don't think that, oh, this is the result of my own native karma. If you don't accept that in that way, if you don't think it that way, then you might get angry right away towards that person, right? But if you're able to think like, oh, this is my own, it's the result of my own native karma that may have created in the past. And if you think like that, then you will not blame completely to that person, and you will not get a very strong anger towards that person.
대군에요. 대가라 제가 가다 나도 지금 양 카드가 세바이 도왔어. 나도 남주 몇쯤씩 카드에 말하다 그거 카드 되면서. 카드보다 내일 가냐 카드가 세바지 혼자 아니 세바지 때도만 총으로 왔어.
So if you blame this to your own karma instead of blaming to the person, then your anger towards the person will be reduced, right?
근데 얘가 다 대공로시라 맞아면 뛰네. 다 공로 맞아면 갈상으로 된다. 다 간지 만들어 지금 우리 네바 땅에도 소주 못이 받아. 다 소주 지금 얘기는 대장자면서 너무 싫어 나도 지금 말해 왔어. 근데 다 소주는 네바 아니 네바 매대 간지들이 정말에 생각 다 티컬라 다 코로 수행되나 코리나 모리나 소바들 다 그런 문제 다 네바 먹이 왕기들이 정말에 근데 다 근데도 내가 여기까지 다 머리 번쩍 먹고 만들고 쇼스면 뭐는 잡네 되니 다파 지금 잡아도 되니 다 같이 잡으러 와.
So mostly, is the people that we are acquainted with, right? Our friends or our families, our relatives, that people that are close to us will talk about us, those bad things, right? Not somebody who doesn't know you at all who will talk about bad things about you like that, right? So it will be people. So so instead of getting angry towards those people, when they say bad things to you, when they criticize you, or when they denigrate you, and so forth, instead of getting angry towards them, and if you feel compassion towards them, towards them by thinking, oh, poor people, poor guy, he doesn't know what he's doing it out of ignorance. He's controlled by ignorance, and he's not to be blamed at all. By thinking like that, by feeling compassion towards that person because of being under the control of delusion and under the control of ignorance, and if you think like that, then you will even have stronger compassion towards that person instead of getting angry.
그래서 대전에 되게 가를 팽했나 소소도 셈바 딱 맞지와 슈충 뭐야 되게 됐어.
And of course that will help also you to not be disturbed, right? Not be disturbed, not be unhappy, right?
다 가지고 그래야 돼. 그러나 다 unhappy. 그래 셈바 맞지와도 뭐하고 때문에 그래 또 들어왔어.
So what we want, is not to have unhappiness, right?
This is our main goal, right? 보호마다 왔지. 아니 병만 잡았니? 아니 다 셈바 맞아. 그럼 보호마다 와도 먼저 와도 다른 셈바 기분 내봐. 마음 대해서 먼저 고속으로 왔어.
So what we want is, we want not to be hungry, not to be cold, and not to be unhappy.
어떻게나 두서 싸마 있나? 아니 소소 되는 마음을 팽개를 했으면서 또 소도 데려왔어.
So if we think in that way, then that will help us to not to be unhappy. Right? That's one of the main reasons.
근데다 렌드세드 빼 무즈빅이 다고 내가 전부들이 말이야.
So it is very important. The karmic law of cause and effect is very important.
와, 근데 소소기 되는 레드 싸면은 되게 레드 소소치는 영화 매워래서.
So if one has not created the action, then it is not possible for one to experience the result of that action.
너 파주에 레드 싸니 되게 레드 모두 영어요 말이야.
It is not possible for us to experience the result of the action that was created by other person.
소소도 적집에 강사지게 레드 싸니 되게 레드 되는 것도 영어되게 그래.
So it has to be oneself. Of course, not necessarily. At this stage, at this time, it could be oneself in the past who has created that karma.
너 앞에나 네 파주에 꼬마케니 나도 동하는 로도 누웠어.
So we will not be sent to prison for somebody else's stealing, right?
파주에 칼라사니 되게 도구장도 되고.
So somebody else's eating will not fill our stomach also, right?
소소 내가 지금 그래서 와.
So it all depends on our one action.
근데 네 파주보다 세배 집어요 같은 가서 배면도 왔어.
And also the other person being happy will not make us happy also, right?
근데도 소소 뭐니 딱 내가 집어도 저렇게 집어야 그래서.
So it is important to create the cause of happiness from oneself, from one's one side, and to not create any negative actions from one side.
그래다 뭐 선바 부수 도모도 접을 쉬워도 그냥 멤버스 대상 나고 그래서 와. 몇 배수쇼 다 선바 배수 그 양반이다 배수 두 분이 같이 나서 찍으러 와 봐야냐. 아니 뭐 선바 그 양반이 나서 잘해 라야다. 근데 뭐 선바 배수 두 분이 나서야 잘까지 커요. 어떤 일이 있어 봤어.
So if we were to if we were able to think like that, then our mind will not be disturbed. Our mind will be more relaxed, will be stress-free. Right. So nowadays also the doctors say that people with the worry and with stress, it's more difficult to be treated. Like even if there are two people who have same kind of disease, one is stressful and one is stress-free, and person with the stress is much more difficult to be treated.
오케이 어디지 다돼 마시. 근데 간제 다 생기게 된다 주고도 가려서나 간제 소소라지 다 담으로 가려요 하나. 그래서 그때는 뭐 시험을 봐. 가요 와요. 소소 집에 레벨 해서 그거.
So anyway, basically what it is saying is that whenever bad things happen to us, whenever somebody says bad thing to us or bad things happen to us, then we should not always blame on others.
반이 있었습니다. 근데 그건 디마도 더 잡히지. 두시는 뭐 쇼도 좀 많이 내는 거는 다나. 다나 가나가 미시.
And then the verse 24, it says, when there is disagreement, as soon as my companions gather, it is the weapon of my one evil deeds turned upon me for peddling my discontent and evil disposition everywhere. From now on, without any ulterior motive, I shall behave well towards all.
다 되게 대놓고 가르쳤나? 다 지금 내가 따라하고 개개하고 예조금, 아니 남이금, 다 공보금, 가리지면 다 도문 콜모보 되지. 니마다도 다 소소 시간 연비 왕기, 근데 들어가판 요요요 소소로 가면 뭐 마셔야 다 가려져서나 아니 가로수서나 다른 거 아니 딱까지 쉬어방 봐. 겨우 한번 다 소소지. 다 이만해서 쉬어봐. 그냥 봐. 이 파쇼로 봐. 대봐. 두시 잡아라. 들리시겠다. 그리고 되세요.
So it's pretty like just like it says here in the verse, when there is disagreement, as soon as my companions gather. So whenever we come together with other people, soon after we start to come together or sit together and talk, and they tend to like disagree with me, and it is the weapon of my one evil deed turned upon me for peddling by my discontent and the evil disposition everywhere. So it is because of my one action in the past that I've created by talking bad things about others, or by causing others to split by using like slandering speech and so forth. And so it's because of that now people don't agree with me and they turn back on me. And so and this happens a lot and everywhere, and especially also in this country, right? And this is the result, especially of the action, like divisive speech or slandering, causing two good friends to be splitted.
You guys do this? Yeah.
Slandering.
가지 소소 따오면 말이 좋나? 되게 내서 되지. 미셔만 그거를 봐줘야 다.
So if you have somebody who doesn't agree with you and who has a different view from you, and then you go to others and tell bad things about this person so that they will not go with him and instead come with you and so forth, right?
Right. Due to the big company, not employees. The employees not
Employees.
Employees not
Getting along.
Getting along each other. Then always give the message for the boss. Like this country, like that country, karma. And this happened right now. Therefore, I really told, I think it's Sunday or what? The one said, don't talk too much, don't look at too much, don't listen too much. Yeah. Many things are not our business, We try to our business, then we clear the more. Sometimes we try to better, we don't know how you try. Maybe we try that, but other person they go to wrong direction, or maybe misunderstand, then more problems create. was 다 들어가려 너도 근데 세번만 정도 왔어. 다 소소 가지던다. 양치 카차 참 만들 것 같으다. 근데 뭐 카차로 되는 건 세번만 정도 왔어. 용도 용으로 왔어. 근데 용을 갈 수 없고 선났어. 아니 양자세 통문성비 제대로를 쓰는 소리 왔어. 예린 높인 자식 소소자. 베피집이 노제 슌들리. 리지 밥은 콜랑 나 그래. 로를 뭘 제대로 다녀도 다 대가 건지 다 루당 거래서 가지 들어라 잡아치가 말해서 와. 야. 차다가 있나 안 소소가 세번 맞지와서 다 루당 거래서.
So at that time, at that time, then we might feel unhappy, right? So if people don't agree with us, if they don't, get along with us, or they even get separated from us, so they leave us alone and they go with other people, and we feel lonely, right? And so at that time, we feel unhappy, right? So, and just like the Bodhisattva Thomas Sampo said, in the practice of the 37 practice of Bodhisattva, and at that time, then you should give up. you should give up, giving up, give up the friends, give up possession, give up, and even this life. So that would be the practice of the Bodhisattva. And so usually, we hold, we hang, to these people. They say, oh, this is my friend, and so we're very attached to them. We cannot give up, right? And so, so thinking that they are all going to be separated, at the end of the life, nobody will be together with you, and you'll be separate from all this, from your friend, from possession. So now you're separate from them now, before you die. So it's okay. So like that, thinking like that, giving up, it's like that. So if you ever do that, then you will not have that feeling of unhappiness, thinking that you're separated from them like that.
Right? Therefore, this karma, this 24th chapter,
Verse.
24 verse also talk about how to,
Get along.
get along, how to get along
Along with
others. It's very important. This country people are very difficult, this big culture, right? Relative difficult. That too much, part too much, too much. So going to us, the culture
So here people don't want to be too close with us. They want to have their own space.
right? Therefore, this counts. That time you create the karma. Next time, no one can cross you. Because you don't want to cross with others now, right?
Right.
Too close. It's mine. Therefore, not you really create the karma to
Not have.
not have close friends. Therefore, now we have something, we don't want to lose our dear friends. We just something little,
Because of small reason.
right? Small reason. Just really create the karma. Then when the right conditions come in, then result will be rapid. Therefore, it's happen, right? Some friends, we don't want to fight, we don't want to, suffer the suffering. It's happen, Krishna. Therefore, this time, you have to be a little bit careful, then you say, oh, don't go there. I think this is also a little bit, we don't want to things put, it's my things, no one can put here, It looks very easy to create the karma in this country. It's maybe culture, This culture, this country is everything is very perfect. Whatever people want, then because kids grow up like that, then they don't want to, they're not used to, Therefore, otherwise, Tibetan culture. I'm not saying Tibetan is very good, but in monastery we have to stay like that, just hit each other, Doesn't matter, you also,
Press.
doesn't matter, just stay there. When we do something hold the teaching in India, here, everybody has their seat. The only important. In India, no seat. Sometimes, couple 100,000 people, small space. Then we have to just all just stay like that. You cannot complain, oh, this is too much, this is my, This is a culture, Even they don't much mind. But here, it's my space, it's my, things that work. It's very easy to lose next time your friends or your teachers or your students, Authenticity, try to be open mind. It's more relaxed. How much do you simple pusu kaza toba 누가 들어가서 말이야.
So how much more tense do you feel? You know, that much more problems you will face also.
Right? How much do you open? We say big mind, I think open.
Broad mind.
Ah,
Broad.
broad mind, then you have less problems. Because you don't care the small things, right? The small things always happen. You don't care. That doesn't bother you. Because you're already too close, then very small things very easy to bother you. Right? Therefore, try to be open, relax. It's okay, it's nature, some small things happen, something, we are all just ordinary people. Ordinary people. And of course, we all mistake. We can see all the time mistakes. But we don't need to too serious like that. It's okay, it's nature. Then because that doesn't harm you. Then small thing happens, then you go to maybe try to fix. The other person doesn't accept. Then you get immediately fired, angry. Then what happens? You are not happy, the other person not happy. Right? Then maybe you're not fixed, it is really done. It's really mysteriously done. Therefore it's something, really mistake. That time, just, it's okay. Then next time you can maybe start, maybe next time not, a little careful, you have to do that, Then other person be also easy to accept, easy to understand. Otherwise, when they do something doing wrong, then you say, this is completely wrong, then the other person also says, no, I'm not wrong, I'm doing it right way.
Yeah.
Then you both get angry, Therefore, you need to also very intelligent. Use your human philosophy. Use, correct? Human philosophy, can we say?
Yeah, that's okay.
It's okay. It's not good. 그래서 소소를 좀 봐. 산뜻하게 삼다고 그랬어. 소소 넘치지 발표지 다음에 삼다고 그랬어. 그렇지 와.
So we should use our logics to think about to do the things.
Okay, 되지. What now main thing is this. Verse 24. Don't give the message everywhere. Okay. Don't to.
So try to get along with anybody, whoever you come across with, try to get along with them. And in verse 25 it says, when all my kin become my enemies, it is the weapon of my one evil deeds. Turn upon me for harboring evil thoughts. And from now on I shall reduce my deceit and guile.
다 소소라 지금 저보다 좀 남이가 되는 뭔가 요가 있는 좋아. 근데 소소 뒤돌아 지금 같이 가고 같은 특단 뭐지 저보다 저보다 뭐 샘디니 공부라 지금 저보다는 요거 맞다가지. 근데 샘디 그래도 뒤돌아 지금 상반면만 창대 와로 다 들리는 적은 그래서 봐.
So it says like when my my kins, like my friends, my relatives, they turn into enemies, and they go against and they turn against us, and then slowly turn into enemy, and it is because of my own action in the past by doing such things like that in the past. So one should not be unhappy or be angry for our friends and kins turning against us and becoming enemy.
아니 생다고 저놈사 니 소리 이잖아요. 딴 내가 뭐 생전 심발은 내가 뭐 깨우는 저걸 해서.
So this is the result of the actions such as harboring evil thoughts or causing harms to others.
아니 소리고 저보다 소리지 다 요지 카드게 입으셨는데 샤타바니 아니 고도라지 오늘 지금 펜토도 지금 지금 하자고 내가 지금 있다 예 내가 가서 기타들로 어떻게 제대로 단정을 해서
And this is a result of the action, causing harm to others by causing harm to others deceitfully. Like when you speak to them, you speak in a very nice way, but then in your heart, you always think bad about them, and then think how you can bring harm to them and so forth. But from externally, you show this facial, a friendly facial expression. That's the deceitfulness.
근데 소소 기왕 너만 없었다 기왕 너만 세대들의 대체적으로 내가 해서 양치하나 돼.
And so this is the result of those kind of actions.
단다스로 담모 와디 되게 했어.
And so that is the oneself having many enemies or people turning against us in this life, it's because of that.
단다스로 담모 뭔데? 코로나는 뭐도
So do you guys have many people who are turning against you, causing you to become angry?
근데 소소 파체게 봤어요.
Or do you do that to others?
파 코로나게 봤어. 소소 파 코로나나 되게 내려고 소소 심마야 밑에 코로나야 내서로 그래서.
So do you cause others to become angry? So if you are doing that, then others will do that to you in the future.
근데 이제 아까스나 이제 다 요지 내가 요지라 그래서 간지 칸이 승장 보라 아니 샘테니 지 봐줘라 내가 기하다 간지 지 막바에 된적이 제대로 왔어.
And so like it says here, I shall reduce my deceit and guile. Is it guile?
Guile.
Yeah, guile. So that means like deceitful action, right? So similar. And so when you speak to them, you speak in such a nice way, but in your mind, you always harbor bad thoughts about them.
그래서 간지 계좌 칸이 계좌님 뭐 가리셔는 맞잖아. 샘티네 고 가리 내가 지금 상반나 아니 그 샘티하고 맞춰버렸어.
So no matter how pleasantly you speak verbally to them, but from your mind and deep down in your heart, if you're always thinking about harming them, it's not good, right? No matter how pleasantly you speak to them.
This country a little bit more easy to come. You guys not fight really harsh with each other, see the face, not beat each other, right? But you guys beat tongue and they do fight the tongue.
Oh, words.
Oh, really? Words?
The words.
I didn't heard much.
Big time.
Really?
Yeah.
When India, Tibetan, they fight, not really loud, then they throw rocks. In India especially, in Tibetan, this is the man. This is the lacha.
Tool.
The tool.
When?
And in India, the shoes, especially the women's shoes. The women's, they beat the guys' shoes. Very big, Like that, I don't know, in here, we're not accustomed to beat each other.
Shoot them.
Boston is like
We shoot them.
California is like Lhasa.
Oh, really?
Yeah. They're more passive there.
Really? Then,
Yeah, Geshe hasn't been to Dorchester.
It's really serious.
Yeah, big time fights.
really?
Just like they say, somebody said human beings, there are very few human beings, and then the one guy said, oh, sounds like this Lama hasn't been to China. Just like that. Sounds like Geshe hasn't been to Dorchester.
There were anyway, there's many times, whatever the other people do, it doesn't matter. Try to ourselves, honest. Sometimes there are problems, just explain, No need to get angry, to, show that you face the right. Then just explain. But this is not easy, just practice slowly, you know. Therefore, the main thing is that the social at the drum on the social someone by social digger,
And so anyway, what he's saying is that the reason why so many people are turning against us and becoming enemy with us is because of having said bad things to others or thought bad things about others deceitfully, or like speaking very pleasantly, but harboring very bad thought towards others. It's because of that. And so from now on, I shall reduce my deceit and guile. So that's what it's saying.
아티가로 가는 순간에 자세 전부 언니 자세라를 소리나 늦어요. 근데 다그 벌써 제가 다 정이 밑에 들어와 달라 다시 따와시나이나 다 내지 다 나다 나대기 벌라 마디 또 가서 태어나지 제와이나 아니 다들 자세 나네 레스 레스.
And also what Sadhguru Thomas Sampo said, speaking about similar things. So if people turn against us and even an enemy to us or try to do all these bad things to us to cause us harm, and so in that text it says like the person, the person to whom you have cared and raised, like your one son, if that person turns against you like your enemy, because of the do.
이거보다 그러잖아. 아니죠. 나사가 나한테 보기 보더라. 아니 아마도 더 쉬우세요. 제가 쉬우치고 왔어. 대나지 파치와이나 아니 더 제대로
So at that time, one should see the person, the person to whom you have cared and raised with so much kindness, just like a mother does to her child. And if that person turns against you and and try to cause harm to you, and at that time you should have compassion, just like a mother will have towards a very sick child. So that's the kind of compassion that you will have. So because just like the child is sick, and can't do much, so you will have so much compassion towards child. Just like that, this person who is trying to cause harm to you after you have done so much for that person is also very sick, because of the delusions and so forth. So if you can see a person like a sick and have compassion, then that is the practice of the Bodhisattvas.
근데도 소소로 코로나에들아 아니 많이 불라 저는지 저 밖에 도사를 가시.
And so somebody who's causing us to become angry, will we be able to give a love like a mother will give to her child?
Possible? It's not possible, right? 다 들리지 요와이나 다가서 때는다고 또 나도 공조 사회에 누가도 그냥 말했을 텐데 토와이나.
So it is possible, right? It's possible. It might be difficult, because we are not used to it, but it's possible. And if we are able to do that, then we'll be really happy, right? We will not be unhappy or becoming angry.
나도 코로선에 코로 나도 맞지와 소동도 와.
So right now, when we become angry, when we become upset or angry, then that really makes us unhappy, right? So if we don't have anger, then we'll not be happy, and not be unhappy, right?
그래서 미래도 왔다 되게 좋아했나? 아니 다 공조 나와는 누가 내가 말했어.
If we're able to see in that way, then we will not experience the suffering of becoming angry.
다 됐다도 뭐 된다 그러면 코로나 라오로 왔어. 아 가지들은 이제 찍어서 너무 상담으로 왔어. 헛가던데.
So, thinking in an ordinary way, we might think that, oh, why should I have compassion towards that person? That person is like driving me nuts now. Why would I have compassion for that person, right?
다 소문다. 파주가 되는 이제 내가 용모의 정확히 소문을 용모 말이 정확히 소문을.
Of course, in an ordinary way, we will think like that. But in reality, that person who's doing that is also under the control of delusions, right? So just like we sometimes, cause others to become angry, right? We do something bad, and that make others to become angry, right? So of course, if we do it intentionally, then we might have that motive. But if we didn't do, if actually we didn't have any thought of doing something bad, but we did something, and because of that, the person become unhappy or upset, then we didn't have that thought, right? We didn't have the motive, to make that person unhappy by causing that person to become angry.
모두 용도 소수지 가지고지 제가 나가지고 아파 야보진에 explanation 되게 아파서 검사로 잡고.
And sometimes even if we try to do something out of good heart, like when we try to explain to them in a nice way, even that can cause them to become angry, right?
근데서 가져오던 거로 소니까 딱 지금 너무 재완다 의외로 다 마시고지니 정말 지장돼 잘 그랬어.
And so it is because of not knowing the reality, right? So even though you are trying to help the person, the mind person says, oh, he's trying to play like a smart and so forth. So advising, trying to give me advice and so forth like that. Even though you're trying to give advice out of good heart, but the person might think that, oh, he's trying to play smart, right? And that can cause the person to become angry. So you didn't have that motivation, but that person, yeah. So will you blame yourself for that? No, right? Of course, because you're doing really out of good heart, right? And so just like that, the other person might be doing that, and so you can think in the same way towards others.
근데 다 틀리 소문 먹고 또 와이나니 다 점점 봐줘야 되고니 다 이제 다 너무 오지원 좋고 무슨 먹고 저기서게 이제 계약 아무도 답이 노려서
So if we are able to think in that way, then we will not, blame to them, and on top of that, if we are able to think that that person is doing that out of ignorance, the person is controlled by the delusion and doing it out of ignorance, out of delusion. So if you are able to think like that, then you would really have compassion towards that person.
아니 뒤가라다 아주 선제 자상 마치만이 오지요 말스 마치면요 제 녀에 까불어야 단디 마드랑도 가르쳐가 되나지 딱 그러 그간 좀 선제 저기 제를 삼아야나 아니 다 대래 안 해라요 그래서
And then if we try to see them, if we are able to see them as our mother, so just like this life's mother, they all have been our mother in one of our lives, and they have been our mother, and they're doing just like our mother. So if we're able to think like that, then it will be even easier to have compassion towards them.
하더니 다 간지 니 생기 된다 쪼가나 다 코로서 맞으려고 다 코로서 맞으시 아니 딱 먹고 그래 맞으더라 사막은 생각 참 맞으시.
And so here the main advice is not to not to harbor bad thoughts towards others, and not to be deceitful or guile towards others.
간지 따로 된다. 다 봐줘 쩐다. 무중 예비세.
배종.
된다. 무중 대비 침이 꼬라 밤에 몇 번에 내는 소자가 더 꼰두라서 빠마샤스. 아니 나가 이해하지. 와 백현 세보다 백현 무보다 좀 맞게. 와 된적이 같이 다 소소 나만 보이지 않는데 니들한테도 백현 세보 백현 무보 아니 쪽에서는 그렇다 나가 받은 거죠 봐. 되게 나타나는 것도 다 모르는 거를 해서 대화를 딱 기왕하면 남자니 팀이지는 걔네들 꼬쳐봐. 아니 밤에 때 시들을 놓으셔봐. 아니 걔네들을 놓으셔봐. 어떤 적이
So in the verse 26, it says, when I am sick, with consumption or edema, and it is the weapon of my own evil deeds turned upon me for unlawfully and indiscriminately stealing others' wealth. From now on, I shall renounce plundering others' wealth. So when I'm sick, with consumption, here it is also talking about the tuberculosis diseases like that, lung, and edema, which means
Swollen.
swollen, right? Yeah. So usually, when that happens, so like according to the Tibetan tradition, Tibetans, will think that like something like that, this is like a harm caused by the nagas and spirits. So sometimes like they tend to pee, outside in the bushes near the trees, so that where the nagas and spirits reside. So if that happens, and then that will cause their testicles and also to swollen. So similar edema like that. So that's those kind of diseases caused by the evil spirits and the nagas like that.
근데 또 뭐까지나 다 취시와 그 시와 여러 취시와라서 뭐지만 나서 나서 뭐 이래서
and so this and says it is the weapon of my one and the evil deeds turned upon me for unlawful and discriminated stealing others' wealth. So this kind of that the sicknesses or diseases arise in one's body because of it says indiscriminate stealing others' wealth, and especially like taking the wealth of the sanghas. So if you are not sangha, if you are not ordained person, and anything offered to the ordained person is only deserved by the ordained person. So if you are not ordained person, then you don't deserve that. But if you eat it, like if you are not a monk or nun, you live in a monastery and you eat that, then that becomes stealing, because it's not given to you; it's given to the monks and nuns. But you are not a monk and nun, and you're eating it, right? And so, even though it doesn't, when we look at it, it doesn't look like it's stealing, but that becomes stealing. So it is, especially saying that in the commentary it says it is the result of that kind of action of stealing sangha's belongings. And also same thing like Geshe mentioned before, even if you are a monk or nun, if you are offered and then you are expected something, right? You're offered because you are doing practice, you are doing prayers. So you are doing prayers, therefore they offer you. So if you don't do the prayers and you take the offerings, then that becomes stealing. Okay? And so it's because of those things. And also especially also these kind of disease manifest more on people who are practicing Dharma really well. So those the real Dharma practitioners, they manifest even more this kind of disease on them.
안에 다 견디만 했는데 지금 초반에는 다 시대가 밤에 들려오시나 그런 거잖아요.
And then even if it's not in the monastery, like Sangha community in the monastery, our Sangha community in the lay Dharma practitioners, among the lay Dharma practitioners. So if there is a general possession of the lay Dharma and of the lay community, and if it is consumed by one or two individuals, then that becomes also stealing. So because it is offered to the general community, and if it is consumed by individuals, one or two individuals, then that becomes stealing also.
어디지 다 네가 같이 들려용어도 가리고 들려치죠 나사들이 용어도 가리치면서 다 같이 견디는 시대가 밤에 들어오셔봐도 아니 시당 시대가 밤에 오셔봐 드림이라 그래서
And so experiencing this kind of diseases is unlawfully or indiscriminately consuming the belongings of the community or belongings of the Sangha community.
대단하고 그때 시대까지 내가 지내는 내가 제대로다 두바 되겠지 내가로 장하러나 소소 밤에 오셔서 근데 너와는 먼저 주소로나 주소들가 시대를 왔어 내가 밤에 생각을 오셔서 그러지나 다 되거든요.
And so if there is a community and it was offered to the community, then one or two individuals they indiscriminately or unlawfully use those things, use the things that was given to the community. Or here also at the Kurukulla center, and people make offerings to the center, and that belongs to the community, right? But if one or two persons just use them, then that becomes stealing also. And unlawfully. So unconscientiously, so just so it's not mine, doesn't matter. I'm just going to use it, and it's not going to I'm not going to be wasting any money on this. Thinking like that, that kind of thought, unconscientiously, carelessly.
근데 가지고 딱 초발시켜다 초발에 진짜 자리 와서 그만 내가 지나가다 소소 원 무슨 바지요 말 와서 그러니까 소소 개키 무슨 병이셔요 말 그러면 초발에 얘기가 지금 와서 내가 사진 나오래서.
And so since we're in the community and working for the community, so we should be very careful about the possessions of the community.
근데 맞춰봐 있나? 아니 나사데 두고 또 용어야 가지 내상으로 그래서 그러고.
And so if we are not careful and we don't avoid that kind of actions, then then we're creating a cause to have this kind of diseases.
맞지. 근데 자, 너도 나가 남들 딱 너한테 가지 용어 또 몇대 때 포서 그 포서 게 말아. 그런 가지 대용어 내 사셔다. 걔는 그냥 나요.
And so sometimes when the people face this kind of diseases, then we say, oh, it just happened to that person. No, it didn't just happen to that person. The person has created a cause in the past, and now meeting with the condition, it happened to that person. Okay, the next verse, verse 27.
근데 로봉 권내리다 대비지 당생ኛ게 샤바샤바 있는 진짜 먹고만 더는 느끼는 거 샤스와.
And it says, when my body is suddenly struck by contagious disease, it is the weapon of my own evil deeds turned upon me for committing acts that corrupt my vows. From now on, I shall renounce non-virtuous acts.
근데 딱 넣어도 지금 너도 용도 다 가지 로고도 뭐 나야 되지 저거 나야 같이 샤와야 보지 보지 딱 남남 용도 봤을 너 가지고 껴
Another word is
뭐들 어떤 용어도 가지는 껴 넘만 남서와 아니 남서스 다 소주가 무게 접은 좀 나와서 그 도마다 담서 처좀 마셔와 왔다 또 이제 그래서
And so when we are struck by this kind of contagious diseases, then it is the evil act that we have created by not keeping our vows purely, or breaking our samayas or commitments and so forth. And so from now on, it says we should always keep our vows purely, especially the vow of abandoning the 10 non-virtuous actions.
전난 버친다 신도 좀 자와예로 자와면 남아있는 놈을 간가르테 빵빵고 그러더라고.
And so the 10 non-virtuous actions has to be abandoned by all of us, whether we are ordained or not, whether we are Buddhist or not.
들리자 던조 야보에 마포 제와이나 아니 다 들리는 나사 두셔들이 용하게 내서 그래서.
So if we don't abandon this, or if we don't keep the morality of abandoning the 10 non-virtuous actions, then we'll be facing with this kind of many diseases, like contagious diseases.
Okay, I think we can stop here now. 들리자 아리도 양양도 놓고 소모 양양도 따나 아니 또 편보시면 되더라고.
So if you can read it and read these verses and contemplate on the meanings again and again, it will be very helpful to your mind.
네가 가는 수수가 나도 수수 셈바지 pen 거고 수수 셈바시 pen 근데 나도 좀 나와야.
So what we need is something to benefit our mind, right? So if we think about this, then this will really benefit our mind.
근데 대다 아니 자세로는 소도 많이 비슷해지는 것도 너무 채워나. 다 네가 나처럼 가리가리 내버리더라고 그래서. 자세로는 소도보다는 네가 좀 가리로 쌈고 그래서. 좀 좋은데 왔어.
And so if you apply, the practice of the 37 practices of Bodhisattvas with this, and integrate, with this, and integrate the 37 practices of Bodhisattvas with this one, then it will be very helpful because this one explains what kind of action causes one to have this, what kind of result, and then at that time, what should we think? Is explained in the 37 practices of the Bodhisattvas.
Okay, they means for us to more relaxed, not always stressed. 내 그만도 내 사사를 와서 내 사사보다 나내 드리도 저 사도 세면 세비체요 말씀으로.
And so we have already created. We should not, worry too much of having created that.
야, 그러나 단단히 추겨와 야고 제대가 나사들은 많이 못 들려요. 저 양 쇼치는데 야이 다 야다로 그래서.
So in some cases, those who are practicing Dharma faces more problems, and so they fall more sick and so forth. And so in one way, thinking it is good, that they're experiencing those difficulties in this life at this time.
그거 예수 때에 얘들은 사셔요 그러나 디카블라 손이 좀 친구 좀 삼아라 되게 내 친구한테 아니 제대로 짓대서 나니 이제 다음으로 되고.
And so the karma that can bring you to be born in the lower realm, can be purified just by experiencing some problem in this life, like small headache and so forth. Can be purified. So because of having created so much virtue in this life through your practice, the karma that may bring you to be born in the lower realm can be exhausted just by experiencing small headache in this life.
대대다 못한 앞에 그 두자지사들이 싸우는 거죠.
So in that case, it's really good that you had that small headache, right? Because you are free from being born in the lower realm in the future.
근데 먼저 용도 왔어. 몇 가지 제대로 양보 제대로 그디나 참을 거지. 몇 가지 제대로 말을 잘해주는 그 자유주의 양보.
And so those people who face difficulties in this life, they're free from the bigger difficulties in the future life, right? And so it's good for them. So some people, so that's the result of their acting good in this life, right? They're practicing Dharma well in this life. And so some people think, oh, those who are practicing, poor people who are practicing Dharma well, faces more problem in this life. And those who doesn't practice at all and just going around carelessly acting and all these things, doing all the bad things, are not facing any problems. Some people may think like that. But those who are practicing Dharma, facing small citizen problems, they are free from the bigger problems in the future. So those who don't have problems, but they are creating big problems in the future.
Okay, like that. Then read a little bit more and also read the
37 practices.
37 practices. I think this is very good, they both. This text talk about if you have heard, what do you think about? What happened? What's wrong with you? What's with your karma? The 37 said, that time, what do you have to think that time? That time you have to think this. Exchange your suffering for others. This is a practice for the sadhus. You can do this very good practice where you will 1 year, you will be a very happy person. Even someone, come to you, very, very nice, push your face, you say, what are you doing? You don't get angry because your mind's complete.
That will make your mind very supple.
Soft, right? Right now, if someone do this, you get very angry, right? If you hear the Zoom was
Show finger.
show finger, you get very angry, right? Even they don't show finger, they just say that.
Stare.
Just stare. Then you practice this both very well, usually. Then maybe one day just someone, what is that, push or show? 1, 2, 3.
Show finger.
Show finger in your face, you don't get angry. What are you doing? This is a possible. It's not talking about impossible. Possible. If not possible, then we don't have high level, low levels. High practitioners, low level. They're not. There's no exchange, no cultivate. It's possible. Therefore, depends if you do or not. If you don't do, if you know, it doesn't matter. Because it doesn't do. When food has ability to feed our body or keep our body strong. But food is in the table, we don't eat. Or maybe we put food on the your bowl, you don't put in your mouth. Then food, your body doesn't get food because it doesn't do actions. Doesn't matter if food has this power or not. Same, teaching has real power, ability, but we don't do our practice, then nothing to do. Whether you know, it doesn't matter. The Buddha said, I cannot take your sufferings like people took the needles in the body. I cannot wash your surface like water wash the dirt. And I cannot transfer my realizations for you. Then how Buddha can help? I show you the reality practice.
By showing you the reality.
Yeah, I show you the reality, and you practice it. Then you free from the all sufferings. Okay? Like that. Then any questions? Yes?
Can we go back, this is going to go back a bit,
Okay. What was
to verse 6?
6?
Yeah, it's the part where it's like with the peacocks and the crows, and I think the analogy is that the peacocks are the bodhisattvas, and all these things that we're talking about now, they're looking to willingly embrace and kind of work on their own afflictions. They've chosen to come back in samsara. They've chosen that rebirth. So they're coming back to work for the benefit of all sentient beings. But this verse says that they're also coming back to work on themselves. Correct?
Which verse?
6.
In the first 6, okay.
Yeah. Rose like a peacock, willingly embracing the afflictions. The hero shall conquer the poison.
그래. 근데 전주 선배들 가래. 삼신도 겨울에 열었어. 삼신도 겨울에 열었어. 소소 더 삼신도 겨울에 열었어. 나도 소소 든다 겨울에 열었어. 들었어. 소소 든다 겨울에 열었어.
아니 삼신도 겨울에 열었어. 얘나야 너무 두 선거 고등가 내가 기도 말했어요. 소소 든다 내 말했어. 겨울 렘바도 생겨 드는 렘바지. 대양 삼신이 바지. 얘나 너무 두 선거 고등가 내가 기도 말해. 내가 죽세가 다 되지라도. 쥐었던 저런 거기 내가 죽세도 못 되라고. 고가 겨울 렘바를 삼신이 겨울 렘바랬어. 아니 겨울 로바레타 얘나야 나라서 누모 내가 기와 나서 고등가 내가 기도 말했어.
그래서 그런도 누모 그래.
누모 받대도 그래서. 먼저 누모 시험 받지도 그러. 거기 누모를 봐 갑대지 않네. 누모 고등 내가 기도 말했어.
So this one is saying that bodhisattvas roam like the peacocks in the forest of cyclic existence, converting the afflictions, right? Which are like the jungles of the virulent poisons into the elixir, willingly embracing the afflictions, and the hero shall conquer the poison.
Right, and then each verse
So-
that we, I'm sorry.
So yeah, so in this one, so they're using the analogy of the peacock to the bodhisattva, right? So the peacock can digest the poison, whereas the crows cannot digest the poison, so that will kill them. It doesn't kill the peacocks. So if we have affliction, in our mind, like ordinary people, like if we have affliction, that will kill us, that will damage us, right? So our mind will be really disturbed and all these things, right? So if we become angry, we can become very angry. We can do bad things, and we can become ourselves very unhappy. Whereas the bodhisattvas, if they become angry, if somebody causes them to become angry, they will not become angry. And even if they become angry, they will be able to use that anger to do good things for others. So they will be able to take the anger. They will be able to handle the anger. Will not. Will be suppressed by the anger and controlled by the anger, and will do bad things with that, right? So bodhisattvas will not. So that's what it means in this verse.
Right, because in every verse that we go through,
Yes.
since then, it's been, the cause and effect. And the,
Yes.
and the karma. Now, my other part of that question is, I think it is part of that, is when we went through the grounds and paths, this had to be a pretty high level bodhisattva
Yeah.
in order to really be able to do all that, right?
To do all what?
To really just conquer everything, accept it and work.
Oh, I see, yeah.
Yeah.
그래도 걸었다. 저는 사통 보면은
내 사람 통보에 맞지. 누가 있는데 너무 톰라들 그 시야들이 말했어. 조지는 롬다가 아니 그시 샤라발라. 디나가 그시 체가와. 그시 체가에만 딱 톰라지면 디가는 톰라에서 말했어. 내가 통만 이제 다 대자 가시면서 나가서 말했어.
So yeah, of course, you know, to be able to do that, you have to be in a high level bodhisattva. To be able to practice in the way that is explained here, of course, you have to be, and that's why it was not taught publicly, before. This practice was transferred, from a teacher to disciple in a whispered, the whispered lineage. And so I give this one to one. From Lama Tisha, to Dom Tempa to the Kadamba masters, like the three Kadamba brothers, and then only when it came to Geshe Chakawa, and then who saw it was so beneficial, and then he started to teach it to the public, to many people in the public. So that's from then it became available to us. Otherwise, it would not be available to us. So these are all the practice of the mind trainings, very high level practice. So normally when somebody says something bad to us, we'll become angry, right? And when somebody says bad thing to the bodhisattvas, they will not become angry. Instead, they will have compassion. See, their saying bad thing to the bodhisattva made the bodhisattva to have even more compassion towards them, right? Whereas if it was said to us, we would become angry, and then say something bad, and then that will damage ourselves, right? And so that's why. And so it is helpful for them.
Right,
For the bodhisattvas, it's very helpful if somebody causes them to become angry.
right, because they're still working on their own subtle afflictions, correct?
Well, in this case, because they are able to use that to increase even more merit by generating compassion towards them.
Thank you.
상주 선바도 봐봐도 아니 이제다 이제 공부 상주 선고봐 전바도 맡는 거 두고 쓰는 거 줘야 아니 얘기 들어와 또 많이 공부 이시죠 아 고민이 도대체 손이 양도 진로에 왔어.
So every time they practice, every time they think in that way, in the general compassion in that way, by practicing generosity, by practicing patience, so that patience and compassion and so forth. So by doing that, they generate, they increase their merit. So they need both merit and accumulation of merit and accumulation of wisdom, and to move up towards the Buddhahood.
Okay?
Yeah, thank you.
This whole text was written for the crows.
Good question.
Yeah, the cross.
그런 맨날
The page did the because Charuchi somewhere else. That's Geshe, that's too deep.
The crows that can't digest it, they eat it.
Frozen.
This is the purpose to understand to cause and effect.
I had wanted to, a little bit off subject. When I experience any kind of bliss, of happiness, it's usually because a particular suffering has been lifted. That's bliss arises. So I was wondering about the bliss of the Buddha, for example. Is that always in reference to the suffering they had in samsara? Every time they experience bliss, is that because they're no longer there? It's referencing from when they were in samsara, or is their bliss just inherent in them?
No, their bliss is all. They saw one sentient beings to same more kind of sita give it to get on tona and they were they will mix it. And the gang is,
So yeah, Buddhas will be happy if they see sentient beings become happy. So if they see sentient beings, turn away from delusions, turn away from the evil actions, and turn into a dharma, then they will feel happy.
and the Michigan, Soya Posarina, and the Sanjito Sanjito Chamo Petunia.
So if one person creates a marriage today, then all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas will be very happy. There are many stories related to that. And if one person were to practice patience, he or she will accumulate a great amount of merit from practicing the patience and also from pleasing the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. And so if you do that, if that happens, then all the gods, or deities, who are on the white side, means like virtuous side, will be happy with the person, and then the person will not face many obstacles. So right now, whatever we do, there are so many obstacles, right, in the actions that we're trying to do.
Even if we try to do that practice, we have a lot of obstacles. Therefore, we don't do very well, and we have not enough to merit, and we are not doing to exactly what Buddha said. Because Buddha told the Dharma potatoes, who's doing the red practice or red actions, the kundula and the little too much into them,
So you should help them. So they were given a pledge. They were made to pledge to take care of their Dharma practitioners.
Okay? Then? Okay, then we finish. Thank you.
Thank you, Geshe.
Thank you, Master.
Thank you.
How to practice these two books come down to
Integrated with each other.
integrate each other. This is very, very easy. Okay?
Page 39.